so interesting seeing President Trump and Kamala Harris doing podcasts. We're about a month away from the election and they're doing podcasts. Isn't that crazy? They're not doing TV, they're doing podcasts. That's how important online media has become, and that's how much traditional media has fallen off. In that, if you want to sway the population, I'm going to do a video about this because it's so interesting. I'm going to make it funny, but it's so interesting. Donald Trump went on Andrew Schulz's Flagrant podcast. That's so sick, dude. I've been on Flagrant. What the fuck? I just thought that before. Bro, I've been on that podcast. I've been on the same podcast as Donald Trump. That's sick. Fuck yeah, dude. That's so funny. And Kamala Harris, she went on Call Her Daddy. That podcast is about pussy and should you do anal sex. That's so funny. Trump is on the fucking Dude Bro podcast and Kamala Harris is on the Girl Boss podcast. Amazing times we live in, dude. I was so disappointed when Kamala Harris wasn't asked, when should you put out when you're seeing a new guy? That's what that podcast is for. All right? Flagrant had a joke around with Donald Trump. They told a few jokes about abortions. They did what they're supposed to do. Call Her Daddy. Didn't ask about Kamala Harris's sex life. What a wasted opportunity. She wore a suit jacket and asked questions about policies. It's called Call Her Daddy. Ask Kamala about her puss. That's what the show's for. She's doing Howard Stern later. Howard's going to put her on the Sibian. And you know what? She'll win. It's a fascinating development because I remember I lost my mind when Obama did Mark Maron's podcast. Remember that? That was worldwide news. I was like, holy shit. This podcast is so big and so important that the fucking President Barack Obama is talking to some comedian. That is unheard of. Now, both hopeful presidents are doing multiple podcasts. Donald Trump did a YouTube video. It's actually a great watch of him playing golf. And it's just like a fucking I played golf with President Trump video. And it's like an amazing watch. It's a great video. You find out heaps about what the guy appears to be like. But there's no policy or anything at all. Kamala Harris is doing a bunch of TikToks and shit like that. Like we're really entering an age where everyone, including the fucking president, is an influencer. Like that's what Trump's doing when he's going on playing golf and not talking about policy. He's being an influencer. Like that's a vlog. He's going on and being like, hey, he's trying to be likable to appeal to young people. Trump is going on Flagrant to attract 18 to 35-year-old people. Kamala's going on Call Her Daddy to attract 18 to 35-year-old women. Like that's their influencers. They're doing podcast tours to promote their new fucking product, which is their political party. How threatened must the traditional media be by this? Because before, Trump was always kind of playing into social media and memes. And I think a huge reason why he won the election initially, the first one, was because he was the first president who actually understood the power of memes and social media. That's why he won, because he harnessed socials better than anyone has before. Even right now, he isn't doing it as well as he used to. Or whoever was running it for him isn't running it anymore. And I think that's why he won, is because he captured the attention of social media and really understood that idea of authenticity and showing your actual personality, even though it is flawed. Whereas he was going up against a politician, Hillary Clinton, who was just like the perfect politician, right? In the sense that she would never show her personality and she would be talking points and policy and this and that. And that is just beaten by a guy who says crazy stuff and then goes, yeah, I was a bit crazy. Whoops, I was wrong. Fuck that up. This guy's a loser. He out-influenced her, and that's why he won. And I think that's why he lost the second one, because he kind of fucked up social media. Like, he wasn't doing any of the funny stuff. He kind of just looked very angry, and he was also banned from social media for a lot as well. And he had all of that kind of influence and stuff. It was taken from him, and then he also kind of gave up. Like getting unbanned from Twitter and not coming back was a bad move. But this election is so close that genuinely it may come down to who had better podcast appearances. Isn't that fucking crazy? That's where we're at in the world. It's not going to be policy, all right? Because people, like the biggest issues, no one changes their fucking mind on. People who are anti-abortion don't change their mind. People who are pro-choice don't change their mind, right? So these big issues that, like immigration and stuff, people rarely change their mind on. Those voters are kind of set in stone regardless of what the president says or the hopeful president says. So I think this one comes down to who's actually killing it on social media. And they're both doing great, I think. Kamala Harris has come off as quite likable to people who could vote for her. Women obviously love her. Donald Trump is I think, a natural at this stuff. I mean, he is an entertainer. He is better at being entertaining and funny and on camera and showing off the part of the personality that kind of makes you like him. I think that's what it comes down to. It's like who appears to be the more likable human, which is pretty crazy because it's not policy. You know what I mean? It should be policy. Like the presidential campaign should be like what we saw with the vice presidential debate, where it's just two guys going back and forth on, here's my solution. I don't like that idea. Here's my alternative solution. But they both fundamentally pretty much agree on the same problems. That's not what this is. It's fucking, Trump was pretty funny on Flagrant the other week. I reckon I'll vote for him. Kamala Harris seemed quite likable on Howard Stern. She seems nice. I'll vote for her. That's what it is. And flawed as it may be, that's the system. That's the best idea we've come up with, is just a popularity contest. And it really is, as much as it's important to be, informed about policy and decisions like that. At the end of the day, what's more important for the politicians to focus on if they want to win is being more likable. Because, my idea doesn't move as many people as I'm cool and likable. Unfortunately, that's just the way the humans are. But anyway, it's just such an interesting thing. Congratulations to Andrew Schulz. I know that's a huge achievement. And congratulations to Call Her Daddy as well. That's fucking amazing. I love to see that legitimization of social media and entertainers and comedians more and more and more and more who own their shit. It's really cool. And it also, Joe Rogan is now kind of going back on, he said before that he would not have Donald Trump on his podcast. He said that a few times. Now he's kind of playing with the idea of maybe getting him on. That is a tough one because he said, I don't want Trump on my platform because I don't want to help him. So Joe doesn't like him. So he doesn't want to help him. And that is true. Like whoever goes on Joe Rogan, no matter what they do, they are helped immeasurably because there are just that many people that listen to that show that even if most people disagree, there's a huge amount of people who fucking love whatever you do on there because there's just that many people, right? So whoever does his podcast will be helped in a huge way with their campaign. So I'm obviously theorizing here, but if I'm Joe Rogan, I would probably be like, yeah, I don't want Trump on because it'll help him, and I know that Kamala won't come on. Like that's if I had a platform that big, I would only interview one if I had the other on like the next episode. That's the only way that I would do it because having that much influence and that much power and ability to sway people is such a powerful tool that quite literally a good appearance on Joe Rogan could change the course of the fucking world, right? If we're getting presidents on Joe Rogan, that'll have a huge effect on such a close election, right? Because this one's going to be close. It'll be a difference of a few million votes. And that is a Joe Rogan episode. Like, let's be real. If he does amazingly or terribly, you could have a different president based off that episode if it happens right before the election. That's just how humans work. Most recent thing is my opinion. And that's crazy. And that's such a big power that if I'm Joe, yeah, I wouldn't have either of them on unless I could definitely get both of them on separately within a really close time frame. So maybe like Monday Trump, Thursday Kamala. And they get the same amount of time and I ask them like the same questions about the issues that I really care about. But then I also have time to just like kind of freewheel and whatever. That's what I would do. Or I would have neither of them on. If I could only get one, I'd be like, I don't. Because I would feel so weird if like, say you get Kamala on and she has a horrible performance and then she loses. I'd be like, fuck, was that me? Or if you have her on and she has an amazing performance, you'd be like, fuck, was that me? I feel like that's just way, way too much influence. I would just be worried about like, yeah, fuck, I don't want to become like, say you have one candidate on and they win. Now, every single fucking election, you're now a tool for one or both parties that they just want to use you. And I would, hate to be in that position. So yeah, maybe you just don't do it. It's just too much fucking. And that's the other thing. You got to like, do I really want to have the guy that has 2 fucking assassination attempts in my house? You know, if people keep trying to kill someone, it's like that. I hope you don't get killed, but you also can't come to my house, you know, because I don't want to get killed. I don't want to be collateral. Like I don't like. You have to do the math. If you say you interviewed President Trump and he does so badly that it's generally considered that the reason Trump lost is because of the question that you asked him and pressed him on your podcast. Now I got to do the math on, oh, fuck, how much extra security do I need for the fucking nutters that are devastated that Emperor Trump lost? Now I got to pay extra security. I can't afford that. I want to go to the shops by myself. Maybe I don't want to interview any presidential candidate. Fuck that. You know, that's a consideration as well. Maybe having presidents on your podcast just makes your personal life so much more fucked. I don't know.